There is a 10-minute window in your day that's silently triggering your emotional eating, and it has nothing to do with stress. In this episode, I'm going to show you the pattern behind this 10-minute window so you can finally break what's been sabotaging you and keeping you in this danger zone of emotional eating. I'm Holly Bertone, former FBI Chief of Staff for Counterintelligence, now known as the Emotional Eating Profiler and Coach, and I've helped hundreds of women break their emotional eating patterns without diets or willpower. I'm going to share something today that I have never talked about before, and something I've never heard another weight loss coach talk about either. And it's time because I don't want to gatekeep this. When we talk about emotional eating, most women say, "Oh, I eat when I'm stressed, or I'm anxious, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm angry, or bored, or I'm lonely." Okay, you get the idea. You eat when you are experiencing these big emotions, and then food is the comfort. Food takes the edge off. But there is one moment in everyone's day that you probably do too. And this danger zone, it can trigger emotional eating. And it has nothing to do with numbing from big emotions or stress. This danger zone is the in-between moment of your day. This can happen anytime you are in between tasks or when you're out of the groove of your day, even weekends or when you're on travel. But the most common danger zone moment that causes emotional eating, it is the transition between work and home. And the worst part of this type of eating is that it is so automatic. It is so ritualistic. You don't even know you're doing it. Most people think of this as a time of transition. In psychology, it's known as what's called the liminal space. And interestingly, it is very common for individuals with ADHD to struggle with this transition time more than everyone else. But if you go a few layers deeper, I'm actually going to call it an identity gap, meaning when you are at work, you are in a very specific role, you are in a very specific identity. You are the manager, you're the CEO, you're the vice president, you're the employee. When you are at home, you're in a completely different role and identity: wife, spouse, mom. And I'm sure the wheels are spinning right about now as you are processing how this manifests in your own life. And by the way, if you're getting value out of this video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Here's why this happens. This in-between space of transition. There is no identity to cling to. That's why I called it the identity gap. There's no structure. There's no direction. It's just a liminal space that does not have any kind of rule book to follow. And your brain just went from operating in structure for the last few hours, and then all of a sudden it's just nothing. And your brain hates discomfort. Your brain hates uncertainty. So it is going to do what it does best, and it is going to reach for something that's going to fill that gap of uncertainty. Food. The most prominent time that this happens, it's when you walk into the house after work. You drop your keys, you kick off your heels, and the next thing you know, you are standing in the pantry. But it can also be when you finish a task and you're not sure what's next, so you reach for the reward snack. Or when the kids are finally quiet at night before you settle down, even on the weekends when you've got a more freer schedule. Identity gap emotional eating. It is about low-level discomfort rather than feeling these big emotions. And while both of these are considered emotional eating and both of them are automatic, you're going to find that the more you're aware of when you're emotional eating, while identity gap eating happens when you're zoning out or you aren't quite fully aware. And so many people like to lump emotional eating or binge eating or stress eating into this bucket of, I eat when I see my favorite treat and I can't stop. And that awareness, it is helpful, and it's definitely the first step. In fact, I tell my clients and my students all of the time, awareness is the win because I want them to focus on the process instead of what they normally focus on, which is I was bad, so I ate the thing, or I was good, so I didn't eat the thing. That's not helpful. I want them to focus on the process. But real awareness isn't, oh, I'm eating my feelings. Back in my own emotional eating days, I was fully aware that I would eat 3 pints of ice cream every single weekend. In fact, I had it planned out with this military grade precision. I was fully aware, a full strategic plan, but that awareness, it wasn't enough to stop me from diving face first into 3 pints of salted caramel perfection. Awareness is more than just knowing what you're doing. It's understanding and it's uncovering why you are doing it. It is getting to the root cause of what got you here in the first place. And because emotional eating, it is a lot more nuanced than I eat my feelings. That process of understanding the patterns of your emotional eating and then why and when it shows up for you, that right there, that is enough to give you the edge that you need. And that's exactly what I help my private clients do. And that's exactly what you get to experience inside the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator. I walk you through step by step how to understand your patterns because emotional eating isn't as simple as I eat my feelings. There are so many different patterns that might be showing up for you without you even realizing it. And when you understand the pattern, you can also understand how to create a game plan for when you are in that gap. And if this is something that resonated with you and this is something you're looking for, click the link below this video. It's going to take you to another page where you can join the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator and for a one-time investment that's less than a typical Target run. Inside the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator and in just 10 days, you are going to shut off the emotional eating patterns that are driving your cravings. So food stops controlling your life, healthier choices are automatic, and weight loss finally becomes sustainable. And you'll also get some pretty cool bonuses. And if you're the type of woman who wants to make the investment to go all in, I'll also leave a link for you to apply for private coaching. I only work with 3 to 4 clients at a time, so spots are limited based on availability. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly Bertone, and this is Weight Loss Forensics.